Yo, what's up everybody, it's Derek. And let's be real for a second, we live in a digital world, and just like the real world, it's got its shady spots. We're talking about phishing scams, those emails, texts, or messages designed to trick you into giving up your valuable info. Now these scams are getting sneakier by the day, almost like they're evolving right before our eyes. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Think of this video as your digital detective training course. We're gonna break down the subtle clues, the telltale signs that scream, "This is a scam." Once you learn these, it's like having a superpower. You'll be able to spot these traps a mile away. We'll take a deep dive, look at real-world examples, and give you the tools to protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And in this digital age, knowing how to spot a phishing scam is like having a digital shield. So, stay tuned, subscribe, and let's get you protected. Alright, first up, let's talk about sender addresses. Now, this is phishing 101, but scammers are getting crafty. They'll use addresses that look almost identical to the real deal, maybe swapping out a letter using a different domain extension, or even creating a whole new domain that sounds legit. This is where your detective skills come in. Don't just glance at the sender's name. Take a closer look at the entire email address. Is it from at amazon.com instead of at amazon.com? Or maybe it's from a completely different domain that you've never even heard of. If something seems even slightly off, that's your cue to investigate further. Don't click on any links, don't reply, and definitely don't give them any personal information. Okay, next up, let's talk about greetings. Now, a legitimate company that you do business with, they usually know your name, right? They've got your account info, your purchase history, the whole 9 yards. So, if you get an email or a text that starts with a generic, "Dear customer" or "Dear valued member," that's a major red flag. Think about it, if Netflix is emailing you, they're gonna call you by your name, not just some random greeting. Scammers, on the other hand, they cast a wide net, they send out these mass emails and texts hoping to hook anyone they can. So, if you see a generic greeting, be suspicious. Now let's talk about urgency. Scammers love to create a sense of panic because they know when we're stressed, we're more likely to make mistakes. So if you get a message that's screaming urgent, or you need to act now, take a deep breath and don't panic. Legitimate companies, they might send you reminders, but they're not going to threaten you with account suspension or fines if you don't click a link right this second. Scammers, on the other hand, they want you to act impulsively, without thinking. So any message that's trying to rush you, that's a big red flag. Okay, let's talk about links. This is a big one. Scammers love to use links that look real, but actually take you to fake websites designed to steal your information. Here's the thing, you can't always tell where a link is going to take you just by looking at it. That's why it's so important to hover over any links before you click on them. Most browsers will show you the actual URL the link is going to take you to in the bottom left corner of the window. If it looks suspicious, if it's a bunch of random letters and numbers, or if it doesn't match the company's actual website address, don't click on it. Alright, so you've clicked on a link, and you've landed on a website. Now what? Well, just because a website looks official doesn't mean it is. Scammers have gotten really good at creating fake websites that look almost identical to the real deal. But there are always telltale signs. Look for things like misspellings, grammatical errors, low-quality images, or a URL that's slightly off. For example, the real PayPal website is paypal.com, not paypay1.com or paypal.net. Pay close attention to the details, and if something seems off, it probably is. Let's talk about attachments. Now, if you're not expecting an attachment, especially if it's from someone you don't know, don't open it. It could contain malware that could infect your computer. Even if you do know the sender, if the attachment seems out of place or if the email itself seems suspicious, it's best to err on the side of caution. You can always reply to the sender and ask them if they meant to send you an attachment. Here's the thing. Legitimate companies, they already have your personal information. They're not going to ask you to reply to an email or text with your credit card number, your social security number, or your password. So if you get a message asking for this type of information, just, delete it. It's a scam. If you're ever unsure, you can always contact the company directly using the contact information on their official website. Let's talk about money. Scammers love to use money-related threats or promises to pressure you into giving them what they want. They might tell you that you owe money, that you've won the lottery, or that there's a problem with your bank account. But here's the thing, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and if someone is threatening you with legal action or financial ruin, that's a major red flag. Don't fall for it. Now let's talk about contact information. Legitimate companies, they want you to be able to get in touch with them. They'll usually include their full contact information in their emails and on their websites. Scammers, on the other hand, they don't want you to be able to track them down. So if you get an email or text that's missing a signature, a phone number, a physical address, or a link to the company's website, be suspicious. Alright, last but not least, let's talk about your gut instinct. Sometimes you just get a feeling that something isn't right. Maybe the email is poorly written, or the website looks a little bit off, or the whole thing just seems too good to be true. If you have that feeling, trust it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Don't click on any links, don't reply, and don't give them any personal information. So, there you have it, guys. 10 telltale signs that you might be dealing with a phishing scam. Remember, these scammers are getting more sophisticated every day, but so are you. By learning these red flags, you're one step ahead of the game. Next time you get an email, a text, or a message that seems even slightly suspicious, take a moment to pause and check for these clues. If you're ever unsure, don't hesitate to contact the company directly through their official website or phone number. And remember, knowledge is power, so share these tips with your friends and family, especially those who might be more vulnerable to these scams. Let's work together to create a safer digital world, one phishing scam at a time. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe out there.